welcome in the host of the game last night in ESPN 1320, contributor Olivia Christian with us here, and of course, author extraordinaire. If you look over her shoulder, you see her book and her big poofy dress, which you can purchase. Where can people get your book?
My website, oliviachristian.co, not .com, .co.
Fire.
Couldn't afford the M? How did that work?
Some other girl out there, somebody else has .com,
Yeah. Did you try to?
That's all right. We're ESPN1320.net, so it's not like.
Did you try to reach out?
That's way worse.
Way worse.
I'm sorry?
Did you try to reach out to her? Hey, Olivia Christian, I need that.
Yes, and she said it will cost you $1 million. I'm like, oh. I don't have I have the GameLastNight.net as well because some other guy had it first and he doesn't do anything with it. And he wanted to
and that sucks. I remember when Twitter first started, someone had @Kara Lawson. I'm like, okay. So we reached out and we're like, hey, I see you make cupcakes, whatever. Could we, get the handle from you? Never heard from her. She's never tweeted since then.
Oh my God.
Never once tweeted.
Wow.
All right. Well,
can you tell if she's following anybody? Because sometimes they just create a Twitter so they can follow folks.
That was 10 years ago. I have no idea. It's just not that important anymore.
It's the same thing on Twitter for me, though. There were a bunch of Olivia Christians, and I couldn't figure out a way to. So it's Game Last Night.
Yeah, yours is tough. Yeah, because
tough.
There's an underscore or something in there.
Yeah, there's so many variations of it, and none of them really do anything with it. And I'm just like, be so much easier.
We've really got to figure that out. That's really tough. At the game last night _ something like that's tough.
It's not that bad, but you hit up your boy Elon, see what he can do. Hook me up.
That ain't my boy. That's Kenny.
That ain't my boy.
Kenny waiting for the truck. That's his guy.
Well, he's not my boy until he gets this truck.
What
signed up for 2.5 years ago.
Well, buddy, you can kiss that money goodbye. No pun intended, but what did you think of the game last night?
Pun intended. Yes, I've been running around talking about the game last night. Oh my gosh, that game was just so fun. Fun, beginning to end. The way they played the game, I was just smiling the entire time. Even when they had a little trouble, even when the Cavaliers had a little comeback, they didn't seem stressed. They stayed within the flow of the game, stayed within themselves, and it was just exciting to watch. I loved every minute of it.
That was, man. They're showing a level of toughness that we haven't seen in recent years. Mental toughness. They're physical as well, because going up against Jared Allen, Kevin Love, Evan Mobley, all these, you got to be physically tough. But there's a level of both physical and mental toughness that we're seeing from this team. And we're seeing it, based off the fact that they've bounced back from this 0-4 start.
Yeah, and when I was on 2 weeks ago, I talked about my worry that, they hadn't gotten a win yet at that point. And I was worried that they'd go another 5-6 games and they'd get into this hole and it'd be super depressing. And clearly they didn't do that. But my fear was if they did that, they would continue to be treated the way the Kings have been treated for years now. Not getting the calls, even on their home court. Obviously, we saw that happen when they were up at Chase Center earlier in the week. But something happens to the league, to the refs even. They're human beings. We all want them to call the games fairly. But when you're winning championships, when you're an all-star, when you're showing up and you are the face of the league, you're going to get calls. So the Kings it's stacked against them. And Mike Brown talked about that. It's hard to be a King because it's you can't win if you're also playing against the refs. But the players have to be able to play through that and have that mental toughness. And they showed that last night. And they're going to obviously have to continue to do that so they can continue to build that credibility within the league. So, our star players, De'Aaron Fox and Domas, they get the calls that they deserve and some calls that they don't deserve because we know those all-stars get those calls they don't deserve sometimes. But like I said, luckily, what's that?
I said I need some of those. I need to start getting some of those superstar bad calls.
Well, Kenny, when I was first on a year ago, I was first on this show October 15th, 2021. And you asked me if I thought De'Aaron Fox was going to be an all-star. Mm-hmm. And I said, not unless the Kings win. He could be as great as he wants. The stats could say that he should be an all-star. But if the Kings don't win, the rest of the league won't recognize it. And the way that he's playing now, he's playing even better than he did last year. He's playing with a certain ease and confidence. And the other people on the court with him have ease and confidence, which allows him to be himself. And it's made the rest of the league kind of step up and acknowledge, one, that the Kings are coming to play this year. And two, they are getting bad calls, and people, you can't deny it. Before it didn't matter. Like, whatever, they're going to lose anyway. It doesn't matter. You get a bad call. But now they're getting the respect they deserve. And who knows? De'Aaron Fox could be an all-star this year.
Yeah. And one thing we were talking about, also 1L for me. My bad. I forgot to mention. Kings won last night. Kings win discount is back over at DLoandCasey.com. I mentioned this because Olivia has made an appearance on Chiron's Avengers shirt.
Yeah,
you can get that out there on DLoandCasey.com, but you got to use the promo code KingsWin. You use the promo code KingsWin, you get 20% off your order. That's what happens when the Kings play well.
Get in there. How long does it last?
We'll run it all the way through the weekend. So regardless of what happens Friday and Sunday, we're going to run it all the way through the weekend. I'm gonna leave it at that. We're gonna run it all the way through the weekend. But keep your alerts on because we've got some ideas. We've got some ideas. You mentioned, if the team continues to play well, De'Aaron Fox could potentially be an all-star. We are having a discussion, and we're 10 games into this thing, and the sample size has been pretty good. 4-6 isn't, the record, ideally that you want. But again, we talk about the schedule. We talk about the tough teams that they play. Cleveland's a really, really tough team. Jesse was kind of the first one to propose this. We've had a lot of discussions about it. Is it too far off base to say this team is really good, and they, if they can put a couple of more pieces together as the season progresses, number 9, number 10, they might be better than that.
I don't think it's a stretch to say that at this point. They've got a great roster of guys, and the rotation. Mike Brown has done a really great job of trying out these rotations, figuring out who works well together, and bringing them in at the right time in the game. Malik Monk, I know a lot of people are talking about maybe he should be starting. Personally, I like the energy he brings onto the court off of the bench. It's just another layer. It's another layer of energy and effort, and the rest of the second string guys, I don't know if second string is the right way to put it, but the second team, the bench players come in and they feed off of that. And so, I think as the schedule continues to develop, as the players get even more and more comfortable with each other, as the other teams in this division continue to struggle, the Kings are likely going to show up. I hate to start claiming where they're going to be in the standings, but I'm encouraged by their tenacity, the fact that they have stayed in every game. We talked about this last time, Kenny. I was like, is it worse to lose by 1 or 2 or to get blown out? And you were with the blowout, and I'm still on. Well, it sucks to lose by 1 or 2. But last night's game, the game last night, actually, they finished it. They finished it. Even when the Cavs again came in and they whittled that 15-point lead down to 2 or 3, the Kings didn't give up. And the feeling that must put in them, the encouragement that they have, what the coaches were telling them, finishing these games can lead to more success. So if they continue to ride that wave, I think they have a great chance of, crawling up the ladder here in standings.
Yeah, for sure. And
especially since a couple are crawling down. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah. But to your point, though, I think the way they won that game last night was just as important as the win itself. Facing adversity, facing some of the same things that they faced in Miami, in Golden State, where they had leads and they let those leads drop and they weren't able to stop, a star player at the end of the game and lost it. And they faced the same things again last night, but they were able to overcome that. They were able to look in the belly of the beast once again, and this time win. And I think that does. I don't want to get too far into the semantics. Like if they would have beat the Cavs by 25, they probably would have felt good about themselves too. But I think that breeds confidence in itself. The fact that they were able to push through some mid-game adversity that they hadn't been able to do so far during the season.
Definitely. I think being able to push through those moments when you start questioning whether or not the strategy that you went in with, if the game plan can really succeed, like, no, just stick with it, play within yourselves. Like Herter had a quiet, first 3 quarters, right? He wasn't knocking out a bunch of threes, but he didn't get crazy. He didn't start trying to force it up. And this is the guy that I am. I got to keep jacking up these threes. Like, no, there are other things that you can do that can make an impact. and you're still in this game. And I think everybody kind of did that last night. And that's why they were able to get over this hump and to get that win. They also didn't let themselves have to overcome a 20-point deficit on their own. They weren't like struggling uphill the entire game. They were leading the charge. There were some, highs and lows, but they were always within reach, and they didn't let it get away from them. And that's really important in terms of emotional energy, mental energy, and confidence. When you're not letting yourself get behind and then have to dig yourself out of that and hopefully have a minute left so you can throw up some threes. I think, again, last night, this showed us a lot. I'm a Malik Monk type of fan. I'm that type of person, like loud and aggressive and smacking and just getting after it. And I was just like, yes, Malik. It was so fun to just watch him play like that. And of course, to see Harrison Barnes, like, turn a page, hopefully, on the season and really come into his own and play within himself, but get to the line and make those shots and make good decisions. And I like that they continued. I mean, there's a list of things that I loved. They continue to get in the paint and not just all camp out behind the 3-point line. They weren't watching somebody with the ball. They were making moves, cutting back door. And again, all of this stuff, I think, really frees De'Aaron Fox up to do what he does. And he's a ball handler. He's fast. He can get up and down the court. And if he has that confidence and that time and that ability to really just play within himself and have confidence in his teammates, the Kings can win a lot of games this season if we continue in this way.
Real quick, just a little bit of a side note, 2 things that came to mind there. You talked about how much you love Malik Monk. And, I like to say we got the pulse of the city a little bit here. We talk to the city for 4 days or 4 hours every day. And there's 2 people that, you just kind of see how things are maneuvering. I think this city, number one, is ready to fall in love with Malik Monk. They're just kind of conscious right now because, it's new. We just met him. We just met him, and it's 4-6. It's not.
We've been hurt before.
Yeah, we've been hurt before. It's not like we're in the playoffs yet. But
never trust a big button. You gotta know better. Yeah.
But the things that Olivia says, you said it, I said it, obviously, the chat, we're ready to be like, yo, Malik is that's our dude right there. Like we ready to really love him. And the other guy that I feel that way about, especially seeing it yesterday, and we've seen it through talking, is Keegan Murray. Keegan Murray is the guy. Like Malik is the guy. We're like, that's our guy or whatever. Seems like the whole city just wants to hug Keegan Murray.
Yeah.
They just want to, hey, Keegan, man, you're our guy, dude. Come on, big dog. We got you.
Yeah.
Yesterday, you talked about, feels like home. Like, come on. This is your home. Come on.
I was going to say, everybody wants Keegan at their Thanksgiving dinner. Yeah. Moms and aunties want to wipe his mouth and set him up with their daughters and nieces. He's just kind of like that sweet guy. And then Malik is a get after it type,
Yeah, you want, but Malik is the guy who you want there because once the alcohol starts flowing, he's gonna turn the party out. That's you like those are the you got Keegan is very nice to have Keegan here. It's very fun. It's very good individual, but Malik comes in and turns the party out.
It's lit. We want to invite Malik to the next Odyssey party. That's what we want.
Man. We'd have to prep Malik for the Odyssey folks because like Odyssey they go pretty hard.
They go a little Sweet Caroline. They're a little Sweet Caroline.
Nah, bro, they harder than that.
I think they would be down for Dreams and Nightmares.
I think they would be. I could see it.
I could see Stacey saying, "Hold on, wait a minute."
I could absolutely see that happening, 100%. And putting the whole thing on Instagram, and tagging Life at Odyssey or whatever tag they keep using.
Life at Odyssey.
I love this. We hit the stage of the fourth quarter in the game. I'm rewatching the game last night, and it's when Mike is about to RKO an official on that challenge, that timeout, because he wanted to challenge a play, but he found out he couldn't challenge. Then he didn't want the timeout. Then he was told. Dude, it's so great watching Mike's demeanor like flip. He got hood really, really quick with that official. He was like, "No, I'm calling timeout. I can't challenge. Okay, I don't want the timeout." He walks away, and the official calls the timeout, and Mike's like, "Hey, hold on!" And his whole demeanor shifted so quickly. And we started the show with, last night, and you mentioned De'Aaron and Harrison. No one can come on today's show without paying proper respects to Harrison Barnes.
Yeah, man.
Given how bad some of y'all have talked about him recently, not me, but some of y'all have just been out of pocket with your criticism of Harrison Barnes. And I was just, man, oh, Mike Brown is a hell of a coach. That's just what I keep going back to as I watched this game again watching it last night. Like, Mike Brown is a hell of a coach.
Yeah.
Well, I listened to your shows earlier in the week, post the Warriors game and yesterday. I don't always get to listen to the whole thing, but I caught
it's unacceptable. You must listen to all 4 hours. You have to listen to all 4 hours. It's in the small print.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. This house is big. This rent is high. Anyways, so I heard you talking about Mike Brown, and especially with that call with the Warriors, and heard it was fouled 4 or 5 times on the shot. I agree with all of that. But at that time, I was thinking Mike Brown needs to get a technical. He needs to get thrown out. Something needs to happen. He needs to be demonstrative. And I feel like if something had happened last night, he was ready to go there. After that press conference, after that Warriors loss, I felt like if something crazy happened last night, he was about to flip out and hopefully inspire his team and get these refs to recognize that they're doing the Kings wrong. Luckily, that didn't have to happen last night. But
it was really close, though. It was really close. That stunner was coming. Like, he looked. And then, of course, post game, he's like, yeah, I didn't know the rule. Like, he's super calm and collected and just cool Mike Brown about it.
Yeah.
But in the moment, he's like, hold up. I honestly think Mike was like, hey, you hit that timeout call a little too hard there, pal. Like, you need to calm down. And he was like, and you could see DC, Jay, they're all trying to pull him away, but he's like, no, I'm talking to him. I'm talking to him. But I don't know if, because they just showed the Harrison Barnes call that he did actually challenge that wasn't overturned. Mm-hmm. I guess it's one of those calls that could go either way, but I also thought the officials were like, Mike Brown wins these challenges too damn much. Like, he ain't getting this one. Mike Brown is damn near perfect with his challenges. Like, we're not giving him this one. Like, Harrison touched his pinky, so we're calling a foul.
Yeah, you know what? I didn't have good vibes from that lead official.
I didn't either.
I did not have good vibes from him.
He was smug. Smug.
He was. I said, get this guy out of here.
Walking around with his chest out. Like, calm down, little fella. Jeez.
Well, like you said, I think Mike Brown is an exceptional coach, and I think he gives the players what they need. He knows how to push, to pull, again, to juggle these guys in the lineup to figure out what works. And if he needs to get mad and get after these referees, he's going to go ahead and do that. And I think he was ready. He was prepared to go there last night. He was almost brought there. He didn't have to, luckily. But that's what makes a good coach. It's not just about calling plays. Like, you have to be able to even emotionally get your guys going. They got to know that you're going to go in for them and potentially get thrown out because you're behind your guys. You support them. So I'm happy for that. It's another Malik Monk type of moment. You're just screaming on the yawn. I love it.
I love Malik Monk so much. Remember when he fouled? Was it Darius Garland late? They just showed it. I can go back.
And he tried to tell him about the carry.
Well, yeah, but he puts it like he goes to the ground and he kind of regroups for a second, but he throws his hand up really quick. I did it. No one else did it. It was me. It looks funny because he's like, it was me. It was me, ref. And I'm watching the play again. And the great part about that play is there's no one near Malik Monk.
It was a one-on-one move.
There was literally no one else the call could be made on. But Malik stumbling to the, it was me. It was me, ref. I fouled him.
That's my boy Zero right there, man. I don't know if I like the Kings player as much since Malik Monk.
I think Malik Monk is our new guy. Yeah. I think he's our
he's one of our new guys, because TD's still there.
Oh, no, for sure.
Fox still there. Your Twitter account is a Fox Stan account.
Yes,
I'm in there
Mike
too.
Brown
you know
and
what I'm saying?
Fox.
I'm just,
I'm gonna find a different reason to tweet about De'Aaron Fox or Mike Brown every game moving forward. Because them dudes are doing it. We need to tweet that stat Jesse gave us earlier about De'Aaron Fox.
Olivia, what do you think about that? Do you I don't know if you heard it, but last year when Fox scored 17 or less, the Kings were 3-15. He's done it 3 times this year. They're 3-0.
Including last night.
I mean, it just goes to a point that we all felt, and there was a reason why we felt that way, because they did lose. If Fox didn't go off, they didn't have a chance. This year, they got enough guys around him, with Sabonis being here for a full year, Malik Monk, Kevin Huerter, Trey Lyles producing off the bench, things of that nature. They've got enough around him where he can have a quote unquote off night, or he doesn't have to feel the pressure of having to score 30 for them to have a chance. That's got to be a huge weight off his shoulders.
Totally. And you can see it even in his demeanor on the floor. When you have confidence in your players that, again, they're going to make smart decisions, not just jack it up, not dribble for 15 seconds of the shot clock, but you've got to flow. People are moving. You're not standing around waiting for him to create. You're creating for yourselves, and the assists are up. It makes him play better. And I feel like that's kind of the challenge, right? I don't know if challenge is the right word for it. Like, is De'Aaron making everybody better, or is everybody better and now De'Aaron can be himself? I feel like it's a little bit of both, right? He's smart, he's dishing, he's putting people in a good position, but he also has just better players that he can rely on, who are consistently showing up every night. One or two guys, different nights go off. Trey Lyles, he had some craziness here and there last night, but he reeled it in and he came through, and he's always ready. He comes with that energy off the bench as well. So I feel like Fox can play within himself, not have to get up 30 or 40 points, because sometimes that doesn't work. There are plenty of teams who have a guy who can put up 30 and 40 and the team still loses. But it's about all five of them on the court. Again, having confidence in what they can do, not playing beyond who they are, playing their role and playing with a sense of urgency. Like, we got to get this win. We're not going to back down at any point. We're playing the entire 48 minutes.
I agree. No.
You definitely had a look on your face like you were going to say something.
Yeah, that's why I stopped.
Oh, you don't have time.
I saw the thing. We'll talk about it on the other side. But Olivia is bringing up some good points. That, man, I saw some last night that I wish we had some, but we'll figure it out. But it was really good.
Okay, yeah. That's an interesting
foreshadowing.
Well, yeah, we're excited to see you this weekend.
Yes, I'm coming up for the game on Sunday. I'm so excited.
Are you staying the whole time? I'm still trying to talk Damien and staying the whole time. Are you staying the whole time?
Yes, I'm not flying all the way up there to leave middle of the game. My hotel is downtown. I'm coming in on Saturday. I leave on Monday.
You see what's happening? They got the whole concert afterwards. Warren G in the house.
Yes. I was watching the game last night.
From the Warren G concert. She just found out there was a game being played.
There you go.
No, but I heard Katie Christensen say it. Katie Christensen said it on the radio. Warren G.
Oh, boy.
I was like, Katie, that's adorable.
She just wants to yell, regulators! Mount up. All right, we'll see you this weekend. Olivia Christian, the game last night. We'll come back.